London. Picture this, right? You love cycling. You and 7 of your mates say, do you know what? We're gonna set up our own cycling club. And then you go on to raise over £2.6 million. How absolutely fantastic is that? And this is quite the London story. This is all the antithesis from an East London cycling club, H&K Cycle Club. They're taking part this year on an epic 550-kilometre ride across the desert for the 5th year in a row. So it's going to be cycling from Mecca to Medina to raise vital funds for children suffering from congenital heart defects within Africa. I'm joined in the studio now with the head of the club, and he's one of the co-founders, Shamsul Abdin. It's great to have you on BBC Radio London.
Thank you, Shay. Great to have you here.
12 years ago, 7 of you start off. Could you imagine that you'd now be 130 riders in and you will have raised over £2.6 million?
Short answer, no. It started off again, literally just us, a few of us going out there, doing a cycle event, a very short one, in fact, 25 mile ride.
Okay.
To raise money for a local charity. And it's just that buzz of the cycling group, and we cycle together, that we sort of experienced. And yeah, decided to carry on doing it following year again. And that's it. It was just literally year by year. And now we've got 3 events that we do every year. The one we talk about, which is cycling from Mecca to Medina, called the Hijrah Ride, which has been going on for 4 years, coming up to the 5th one.
Okay.
The 2 of the other events started from the beginning was what we call it the National Ride, cycling approximately 80 miles from London to mostly coasties. So, for example, we've been to Dover, London to Dover, London to Southampton, Margate, you name it. It's pretty much all the coastal sides, 80 miles. And that attracts a lot of newbies to come along. And we sort of provide 12 weeks of cycling experience. But then our flagship one is 12 years we've been cycling across Europe.
Okay.
It was a 10-year project. We cycled from London to Istanbul.
My goodness.
Yeah, so that was accomplished. I think when I looked into it, I think we're the only cycle club that's actually ever done that. And it's continuous, even during lockdown, when everything else stopped, we still
still kept going. Congratulations, because what I think is great about this is you're a group of East London lads, essentially, aren't you?
Yeah.
A bunch of mates, 7 of you initially, that said, do you know what, we're gonna do these bike rides, and it's grown into what I would say is a bit of a movement.
Yeah, it has. When we started 12 years ago, to be honest with you, cycling has always been seen as a middle-aged white man's sport.
Okay.
Especially sort of long-distance cycling. So it was unheard of to see that. So when we started cycling, it was on road bikes. We had like tracksuit bottoms, rucksacks on our backs. So we had no idea.
Were you on your BMXs?
We actually had the right bike, and that was it.
Good.
And we had no idea what we were doing. But it was actually, and now looking at the whole scene of cycling around London and everywhere else, a lot of people taking up cycling now, which is really good to see.
I really love your story, Shamsul, but I should probably share why, because I can really connect. I remember when I don't do it now, I should probably say that, but when I was in my 20s, I did the London to Windsor bike ride a number of times with my uni mates. But I remember looking at people around me, and there weren't no one that looked like me. And so I'm really struck by the fact that you say that you and your mates, and I have purposely not talked about your ethnicity, but as you've raised it, the fact that you are all predominantly South Asian, to take on something 12 years ago when there were not, guys from Ilford, guys from East London that look like you, sound like you, taking on these bike rides. But how did you feel? Do you think, now we can do this? Was it a bit of a London attitude? Or was it like, we're not sure how we're going to go about this?
No, it was pretty much the London attitude. It's like, you know what, let's go out there and try it.
Yeah.
The first year we cycled from London to Brussels.
Okay.
And like I said, we had no idea what we'd do. We literally had one navigation device, 7 of us, and just, getting lost a few times and just going out and just doing it. And we sort of learn along the way how to do. So now it has enabled, and it's sort of other people find it inspiring to see, okay, you know what, there's a group of people that look like us, and they can feel more connected, and then they feel more part of it as well. So it has really helped in our community. Although it's never been sort of, from the beginning, it was never set out like that. It just sort of helps our community people to sort of take up cycling And they feel like, you know what, if these guys can do it, I can do it. It's that sort of attitude.
Yeah, it's that think of, hold on, if Shamsul down the road is doing it, why can't I get on my bike and ride?
Exactly. And I know I don't probably sound like that old, but I'm actually in my mid-40s, right?
Okay, no, you don't.
With 4 children, with a full-time job. And if you can do it, then the next man goes, you know what, I think I can probably give it a try as well.
I want to give the website details. It's hkcycleclub.com, and then the social media is at hkcycleclub.com. I'm bringing you into a conversation you may not want to have, so if you don't, you can stop me, all right? Even though we're live on the radio, but I just feel I need to ask you it because, you know, this weekend we've had the anti-immigration protests that have been taking place in London on Saturday. Last night we had Mayor Sadiq Khan really reaching out to all communities, but very specific in his words when he said, I know many people, particularly from London's diverse communities, are feeling extremely worried following the events this weekend. It takes me back to how I felt growing up in the 70s and 80s when far-right political parties marched our streets. You're getting on your bike and cycling right now. How are you feeling? Do you feel safe? Do you feel welcome as a Londoner when these are very highly divided times?
Good question. So last week, we go out every Saturday cycling, and our Saturday rides are usually around 60, 70 miles, and it's around Essex, deep into Essex as well. And first thing my wife said to me on Friday night was like, are you sure you want to go out? There's demonstrations out there and stuff like that. Yeah. And it sort of reminded, again, just like they can say, it reminded me of when I grew up back in the 80s and 90s as well, you know, Bethnal Green. As a child coming back from primary school, I had to just stand outside waiting for the boys to leave my front door before I could go in.
Goodness.
And I remember like seeing all the other kids going into the home after school, and I have to just sit there by myself until the thing was clear, and I was like getting beaten up by boys in their 20s just because of my skin color, just playing there by myself with a football. But you know what it is? I've sort of built resistance. You know what? This is where I am from, and I've been here all my life. And so I said to my wife, look, we're going to go out cycling because that's what we do. We're not going to give up. The moment you start giving into that, this is what they want. And I mean, I sort of joke about it because we're especially when we're cycling around Essex everywhere, you see the St. George's and the Union flags everywhere, which I don't have a problem with that at all.
Well, you're British, aren't you? Yeah,
exactly. I have no problem with that. It's just that I think the intention behind people putting it there is different to what I see anyway.
Do you feel
the message is different?
I've got to come in, Shamsul. Thank you for being so open, because this isn't a conversation that we had planned to have with you. That's the first thing I should say. But it just felt important for me to ask you that because of your cycling club, and with the fact that you've just painted quite a vivid picture of a young British lad, you know, just being beaten up by thugs, essentially, as a young boy because of your brown skin, to now be in your 40s as a dad of 4 children, still saying no, I'm going to cycle. This is not going to stop me in my part of London. What gives you that, I don't know, defiance, if you will?
I don't know. I guess growing up, you have to sort of stand up to your grounds, right? I mean, I never used to run away. I mean, obviously I did when I had to, but there's times when you just have to stand your ground. And this is what thugs don't like, when you have to stand your ground. Yeah, you're going to have to take your beating up as well. But this day and age, I don't think it's more of a physical anymore. It's more of going to the intellectual debate stuff. It's more in the online social media stuff. This is where you see all the racism. Now, you don't see it blatant in your face anymore. It's all on that sort of comment section in social media. You see the true colors come out. And that's what I try to tell my children as well. Stand up. Be proud of who you are. We're not, you know, when my parents came here, they were a bit more, they saw white people as more superior to them. It's just the way the mentality was.
Okay.
And I try to tell my children, no, we're all same. You know, you speak the same language, you're British, like everybody else, so stand your ground. I mean, I do sort of joke about when I'm cycling. And I think I really like about the flags that are on the streets everywhere. As a cyclist, it really helps me because I could sense the direction of the wind.
Oh, lovely. I love it. So hold on. Whoa. So you're saying the intention of these flags may be to say to people like you that this...
You're not welcome.
Okay, so you see the intention behind these British flags, these St. George's flags, is you're not welcome. But as a brown man, you're saying, no, this is perfect. It's helping me cycle down London.
Yeah, I can actually work out, you know what, I've got headwind, I've got tailwind, I've got crosswind. It really helps.
Always got to find the positive, and otherwise,
exactly.
frankly speaking, I myself have received an array of messages from family members who were just kind of checking in to say, look, Shay, make sure you know who's picking you up from the station where you're walking. How does that make you feel? You're a Londoner. You're from East London. You're from Ilford. You know, these are your streets you've grown up in. You talk about Bethnal Green, what it was like in the 80s, but we're in 2025. So there'll be some people who might say, yeah, maybe just stop cycling at the moment. Your wife's telling you should be listening, mate. What would you say to that?
I think I'm too stubborn to say no. We have to carry on, right? We have to carry on, and it's not the whole country's like that, let's be honest, right? There's a fringe of people out there who probably jump on the bandwagon, seeing the whole movement and but it's not, the whole country's not like that. So I think we should just carry on the way what we're doing and what we enjoy doing, and not give up to it's a sort of threats. And yeah, we just stand your ground.
And thank you for delving into something that I suspect you're probably thinking, I don't really want to talk about. I'm just a cyclist. I'm going on my bike rides. I know I've got the right equipment now, and I enjoy it. Yeah. Is it frustrating to have these conversations, Shamsul?
It's frustrating. We have to have the conversation in 2025, like you said. I thought it's all been done and dusted. I mean, literally, I suppose I was talking to my colleague today and yesterday as well in our office, and we said, you know what? We thought we left that behind now. We really thought we moved on. And to have that sort of discussion again in 2025 and with my children who are now third generation in this country.
Third generation British.
Third generation British. It's like, yeah, it's uncomfortable and just wasn't expecting it. But having said that, I'm not blind to what's going on in Europe, in the Western area, all the far right movement, political movements are in the rise as well. So it's difficult times coming, but we need to stick together, I think.
And I would love to just bring it back round to the love of cycling.
I like the word round and cycling.
Yeah, I did try. Because obviously we're in September. It's going to get wetter. It's going to get darker. It's going to get colder. I'd just love to know what keeps you going as a London cyclist.
Yeah, it's a good one. My wife's given up on me on that.
Hello to the wife is what I'm going to say.
I'm not just my wife, all our cyclist wives, they're just thinking, what is the matter with you guys? And the ride that we're talking about that's coming up in January.
Yes, tell us more.
The most challenging part is the training, because the training starts in October. So it'll be October, November, December, January training.
Okay. We
go into deep winter. And I'm talking about, it will be like -3, -4 degrees, and we'll be going out there cycling 70, 80, 90, 100 miles every Saturday. So it gets really, really tough. But it's passion for cycling. I think, don't get me wrong, during those times, sometimes I do wonder, like, what am I doing this for? Like, I could have been at home since Saturday. I could be cozy in my house.
And actually, I have to give you some words from the London drivers, because sometimes not everyone is a London driver, or even cabbies for that matter. They're not always the biggest fan of cyclists.
No, they're not.
What's your take?
I can see why, because obviously it is really congested area, but the good thing is for us, when we cycle, we tend to cycle in the countryside. So
okay,
it's more
nice.
calm. Yeah.
All right, so you're planning. Yes, you are. Yeah. The whole point of this is you are fundraising, aren't you? Because I did say at the beginning of our conversation, it's really awe-inspiring. This 550-kilometre journey from Mecca to Medina, raising vital funds for children suffering from congenital heart defects within Africa. It's going to be supporting Muntada Aid's Little Hearts Project. It's an initiative that's been transforming lives since 2012. So what is the best thing people do now? Maybe this is the first time they've heard about hkcycleclub.com. Maybe they want to get involved. What should they be doing?
Yeah, so do connect with us on our social media. We're very active on our Instagram and TikTok as well, so they can actually see all our Rise events that's happened. If you want to sort of donate towards a cause, muntadaaid.net, you can actually make donation there for the congenital heart defects. So we do go live, and we sort of do clips from you can see our previous Hijrah Ride from cycling. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we just come back cycling in Scandinavian countries from Denmark, Sweden, Norway.
Wow.
Over 4 days. And we've covered over 700 kilometers as well.
You're addicted, aren't you? Come on.
I think so.
Cycling is in the blood now, it feels like so, here. Yeah. But congratulations, because you're raising so much vital funds, and it's muntadaaid.org for more details. I'm on the website now. So just for anyone who would like more information, can I follow the journey? Will you come back
Yes.
And talk to me about how all of the training prep was going for you ahead of the big ride in January.
Definitely talk about it because it'll be our 5th one, so it's a milestone for us. After 5 years of doing it. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to you coming back in the studio. And thank you for joining me this afternoon, Shamsul. And well done to the long-suffering wife, it sounds like here, with all of this cycling that you are doing. I hope you're making time to spend with the family as well. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.